Caldwell. I'm a second year's master's student at Colorado School of Mines. I am studying structural engineering with my research is in tunneling.
I'm Alexa Green. I'm a master's student also at Colorado School of Mines, and my degree is in underground construction and tunnel engineering.
My name is Joseph Verkler. I'm a PhD student in civil engineering at Colorado School of Mines, and my research is also in tunneling. Yeah, so I guess in 2023, Biden and the Chinese president agreed to have 50,000 students to China over the next 5 years for trade and exchange and getting to know the culture. While we were there, we got to visit with the CREC and go and visit some of their high-speed rail projects and tunnel. They're one of China's biggest contractors, state-owned. And then we even got to experience some of the culture there and visiting the Great Wall, the Terracotta Warriors, and experience the food of 4 cities, Xi'an, Beijing, Chengdu, and Zhangzhou.
We were there for 11 days.
Was it just one?
It was just one.
So we went to that tunneling site, to the tunnel project in Chengdu, and then we also went to like the TBM assembly, like manufacturer where they keep the TBMs and stuff. And we went to the bridge launching gantry too. Like they were building a bridge for the high-speed rail, and they put the segment while we were there too. That was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, we had the opportunity to visit the Great Wall station, and we got to go underground and see their construction of one of the, I think it was the deepest railway station in the world, maybe at the time when they first built it. So
Got to walk through some of the tunnels there.
Like
Very cold, yeah.
Well, everybody lives in apartments there rather than single-family homes. So everybody's they build a lot of apartments really quickly as well. There must be not as much red tape to how quick they can get through the construction procedure, just because some of these buildings shoot up, you know, quite quickly, and the scale in which they're doing some of their high-speed rail or tunnels or investing in their infrastructure is just amazing.
Yeah, I also found interesting that, do you remember that like CREC, the company that was sponsoring the trip, they have different, like there's railway and tunnel and different subsidiaries, and even in their own company they compete with each other for the jobs, for the bids, I think, right?
Yeah.
And there were like five CREC companies, separate companies within the same city. I think another thing that stood out to me was the fact that they had, I think, over 100 TBMs going while we were there in Chengdu specifically. There were more across the country, so the scale is pretty impressive.
Maybe I don't know, they have a subway project and then they have 2 TBMs with each other, so maybe that's one project. Got it.
Or for water storage tunnels, there might be multiple for wastewater treatment. So
we got to visit one for, I believe, like a metro line.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of several metro lines going on within the same system.
I mean, we didn't get to talk to anybody that was, a lot of like the people who are the contractors, we didn't have as much experience to talk to. A lot of them don't speak English. We were provided some translators from the CREC, so when we would visit these sites, we were allowed to ask questions, but we didn't have the opportunity to get to know any of the like construction workers on the same personal level as we did our translators. And a lot of the translators, you know, are working at the CREC, they make a lot of money. They're not, some of them were engineers and design engineers, but some of them, like, their sole purpose was they traveled to the United States or wherever to learn English, to be a translator. So that's who we got to know best. So we didn't get really a feel for their workforce. Is difficult to obtain enough people for that, but all the projects we went by were plenty staffed.
And I do know that, like, talking to some of our translators, they were saying that they're going to start, like the government specifically is starting to encourage people to go into more like blue collar jobs rather than, I don't know, white collar jobs, I guess would be the alternative. But that was just like an offhand comment, like one person's perception of what was going on. So I don't know if that's like actually what's the trajectory. I thought the people were very nice. Like everyone we met was so like welcoming and generous, and I think like the people that we got to meet and like become friends with were definitely kind of like the highlight of the trip for me personally. So I think like coming away from the trip, I'm just left with like a sense of just, I don't know, just like general, I don't know, happiness that I got to meet these people and get to know them and like learn about their lives. Our translators specifically, Claire and Wilson, were 2 of our best friends.
Yeah. there's a lot of misconceptions between young people between the United States and China. A lot of young people who haven't traveled between the both don't know a lot about the culture, or they have certain thoughts about, policies in the United States that could be more dangerous than in China or worse. So it's kind of fun to talk to people who are our age and clear up some of those misconceptions on both sides. I mean, I think all of us were a little intimidated to go to China just because it's across the world and a foreign nation. But I think in the same way, there's a lot of students in China who would be intimidated to go to the United States. So it's funny because on a personal level, there's never any level of conflict. Everybody can be friends. But especially from the young people, everybody was incredibly caring, nice, and we really want to work together, to make the world's infrastructure a better place. So,
like we were just talking about the 100 TBMs in just one city, but then in the US, you maybe have like 10 at a time in the whole country. So I think the perception I got was that the US needs to catch up with China a little bit, and maybe it's with working with the owners to speed up the process of handing bids and work to the TBM contractor and design workers. Because China for sure is working fast, so I think some healthy competition doesn't hurt anybody. So yeah, I'll say for sure. I feel like I already wanted to work internationally before, and now I'm just more than now. I think I also saw that, especially with the language barrier, I like learning languages, so I'm not more. I want to learn Chinese maybe, because also I think it's maybe the second or more third most spoken languages in the world. So I definitely want to learn Chinese and maybe work for a job there. I don't know, maybe be one of the 100 TBMs working there. I don't know. Yeah.
It makes it less intimidating to go to another country and work. I mean, we have a lot to learn from, there's a lot of good research being done in Europe in underground construction as well as China. I mean, they're a leader. We're all research students. We'll read papers from China. I feel like historically China was the US was the big brother, but now it's maybe, they're repaying the favor and we can learn from them. So just that many projects, I mean, you learn from experience.
Oh yes, I would love to work internationally. I think like Joey said, it's less intimidating to go to another country after going to China. Obviously the language barrier would be hard, but I think it's a good opportunity to learn about a different culture, meet new people, a different way of construction, and I think exchange is beneficial to everyone. I mean, obviously, I think we've seen that in the past, and I think I would love to be a part of that. I think this trip was a really good first step for that. So yeah, internationally, I think that would be awesome, a dream.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty easy. I'd already had a visa before, but all of the people in our group had to apply for a visa. But one of Mike Mooney's administrative assistants, Jen Moncourt, she made it really easy. I mean, she coordinated a lot of the visa process. We worked together as a team to work it out. Some students would apply, figure out the procedure, and then help other students. But I mean, the CREC did an amazing job of just planning the entire schedule for us. Mines was a great support, team to kind of integrate that and communicate all that information from us. But I mean, the CREC did a lot of work to make this trip as good as it was.
And I also think that being at Mines was, obviously a large part of why we got to go on the trip. There were some industry professionals who attended as well, but we got to go because we were students of Dr. Mooney. This is an opportunity. I feel like going to Mines has opened a lot of opportunities for me to travel, to come to this conference.